Today I'm looking at the Boss RC505, the loop station, with the view to sequencing its tracks from a different sequencer. So I'm going to show you how to set it up. I've got something on channel 1, but I'm not going to use channel 1 in this demo. We're going to use 2, 3, 4 and 5. On each of these is a small loop. So to do this, what we're going to do is press memory, and I'm scrolling across. I've set the tempo that I want here, although the tempo will be derived from the sequencer that we'll connect later. And I'm going to these settings. Now, to do this, the states of the device need to be correct. So for start, I've got each of these off. The default is this, but we want this so that they don't all start when the trigger is made. So I'm scrolling across again. We can leave this one as it is, so they all stop when there's a stop. Now, this is where the settings are important. The target track, in this case, is track 1. The assignment switch should be on because we're going to tell it to use the assignment, and our choices are off and on. The source, here I'm telling it that if it receives something on control channel 1, then do something. And we have a choice here. Now I've kept the numbers the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've set up 5, even though I'm not using number 1. Toggle, we should set this. And our target in this case is that when we receive a CC1, is that we're going to play or stop. And there are lots of different things we can choose here. We could do record and play so that you could automatically set it to record and then play what you've recorded. But as I've already recorded the sequence, I'm telling it assignment 1, TR1 to play stop. So these two settings are irrelevant now. Now I'm on number 2. Number 2 assignment will relate to track number 2. So I've turned it on. I've told it CC number 2. Toggle. We want it TR2, play stop. And we do this. Assignment 3, play stop. Assignment 4, switch on. CC4. And so on until we get to CC5, because we've got 5 tracks. We can create more than 5 assignments, but for this demonstration I'm using 5. And when you've done that, when you've made the selections, press memory. I'm leaving it with the same memory name, to memory 1. That's now stored. The other settings that we have, which I'll just go through, although I think they come like this as their default. I've pressed edit here, and we can press edit for each of the track to get to the menu will change accordingly. So we can set level pan, 1 shot off. For me, play mode multi, start mode is immediate, stop immediate. I've set the measure. They're all 4 in this case, except for track 1, which we're not using, so ignore that one. But my lengths are set to the sounds, obviously, that I recorded earlier. Loop sync we can leave on, tempo sync we can leave on. And as far as the system settings go, we don't need phantom. I've left the MIDI channel at 1. Of course, this can be a MIDI channel of your choosing. I've left Omni on, and the sync is on auto, and the sync source is MIDI auto. This is the second part of the tutorial where I'm going to trigger the Boss RC505 loop station via my Squarp Instruments Pyramid. So you can see the pyramid here, and at the moment it's a blank project. So I'm going to create a track, and I'm making sure that it's on channel 1 because this is the channel that the 505 is on. And I've got 4 tracks of length of 4 bars, and for each track on the 505 there'll be a different sequence depending on the chord that's playing on the track. So I'm going to set the length of the track to 16 bars. That gives enough length to trigger the various patterns that we want. So we've got our track here. It's on position track 9, and we can see that in the pyramid. I'm moving over to step, and I'm changing it to CC messages so that on the steps I can dictate what message is going to be sent. Now, when you saw the video, the first part of the video, I had attached the control numbers to the track numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the messages that I'll use will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. To do this, we need to know the current state of the track. I'm going to track 5 first. Now, the Boss will trigger at a value of control number 5, and the value of control message 5 will be 64. That will give a trigger that it will recognize. So if I push down on the pad and go to 64 and I push it, you can see that the pad 5 has started playing. Now, there is an in-between step, which is to stop it. I can't just send another value of 64, which is what you might expect because it's a toggle. So it's either on or off. However, if I do that, it doesn't do anything. However, if I turn and send a value of 63, it's still running, but if I now send a 64, it should stop. Now, that can be confusing because, of course, you're looking at the track, you don't know the state that it's waiting for. Now, I know because I spent many hours looking at this, and so if I now send I'm going to call it the preparation state, and I just sent that message to the 505. Now if I send the 64, which will be the on trigger, it starts. So there's the preparation message, and here's the toggle. And we need to do that with all of them. So to do this, I just sent it the 0 message. I want 5 to play all the way through. So I'm going to set this to 64. And notice I haven't sent the message to the device because I don't want it to start at the moment. I want to program the other tracks. So in my 16, and I'm here, I'm not going to send any other message for now. So that will play all the time because there's a 64. And if it gets another 64 message, it's still the same state because it hasn't had the preparation trigger. So I want track 3 to start with track 5. So if I go to control message 3, first of all I've got to give it the preparation. We'll do the same again. I'll push the 3 and I've sent the what I call the preparation. Now if I go to 64, you'll watch the machine. So now I'm going to send the preparation and now I'm going to send the message and it stopped. I am going to increase the BPM because the sequence that I recorded was at 165, so now it will sound okay. So now I'm going to send the preparation because we want that at the beginning, and I'm going to now press the pad and leave the setting 64 so that when this starts, track 5 will start and track 3 will start. And that's what I want for the first 4 bars. So now what I'm going to do here at the end of this sequence is press the pad and set the message 3 to the preparation state. In fact, I could do it here on number 2. It doesn't really matter as long as it's set so that when we go to the next one, the next 4 bars, I know I don't want number 3. So if I press here and send 64, it will stop. And the one that I want now, I'll go for track 4. So I'm sending the 63 before I even start the sequencer to put it in the correct state. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that to 64. That triggers it. 5 will keep playing. So here I'm going to send 63. So that will prepare 4 to stop. Now I'll go to the 3rd section and I want 4 to stop, so I'm going to send the 64. That will stop it. And I want number 2 to start. So first of all I'm going to send the message to prepare. Now the device has got the message and I'm setting that to 64. And at the end of this one, I want 63. So that when I come to my next last 4 bars, I'm just checking something. Yeah, that's right. So now I want 2 to stop. So I send 64 because it's had the preparation message in the last 4 bars. So there's 64. And now we'll go back to the beginning so that I want 3 to start. And in fact, if I want 3 to start, remember it's been stopped, so I need to send it the preparation message. So I'm going to send it the preparation message here, the 63 on the previous 4 bars, so that it's ready here to take the 64. And that is the sequence to do this. So it's possible I made a mistake, because it's not very easy to think about what's actually happening and what state something is in. I've come back over to here and I'm going to press play and it should work. What I've found I've done before is that I've added a different track to set everything to 0, but we'll see if it works. And there we go, 3 stopped, 4's on. And there's 2. That worked perfectly for the sequence of 2 to 5. What I hadn't done is round it down at the end to start the sequence all over again in the correct position. Now I've done that deliberately so that you can see that it's very easy to slip up on this. But once you understand the concept of the preparation state of any control value less than 64 and the trigger state or the toggle as being 64 to turn the track on or off, then you'll be able to do this fine. It really does extend the use of the device. It also shows the power of the small but wonderful pyramid sequencer, because we can lock the parameters that we want and layer them on the steps that we want. And hopefully this extends your use of the 505, because if you can trigger those automatically, one, it does allow you then to play an instrument and you've only got to start the machine. Now I know you can do that just from the Boss 505 because you can just have a measure in, but it may be that you want the sequencer to, in my case the pyramid, to be playing at other instruments, and then you can automatically have the looper come on without doing anything with your hands, because you might have some drumsticks in your hand or a guitar or ready to play a keyboard. So it just frees up things a little. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the demonstration. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask.